Why does one person take ownership while another person appears to completely avoid it? A lot of leaders think the answer is they aren't accountable, but I think that's backwards. Accountability doesn't stand a chance without ownership. And in my experience, true ownership comes down to three things: a shared vision, agency, and connection to outcomes. But there's also a fourth piece, and it's one most leaders miss completely, and I'll come back to that at the end of the video. Now, the first thing people need is a shared vision. Because if people don't understand where you're going or why it matters, it's very difficult to create ownership. And the shared vision needs to be more than clarity of the vision itself. It has to make sense to the head, and it has to appeal to the heart. People need to understand the future you're trying to create. I remember a time when my leadership decided to start making more soda. And this is a time from when I was in beer. Now, from their perspective, it probably made perfect sense. New products, new revenue opportunities equals growth, right? But from my perspective, I remember thinking, I didn't come here to make soda. And no one from leadership helped me connect the decision to a larger vision. Nobody helped me understand why this mattered. And when people can't see where we're going, it's really hard for them to feel ownership of the journey. So create a shared vision and people will be more willing to take ownership. The second piece is agency. And this doesn't mean throwing people into the deep end, not at all. It means giving them freedom within a framework. You define the destination, they help shape the path, and the framework keeps them safe from falling off a cliff. This is where leaders lose ownership without even realizing it. They involve people after the decisions are made, not before. I also experienced this when we were taking on a new manufacturing initiative. And at this point, I was a VP, and I was involved in the conversations. I understood the rationale, but when I gave my input about equipment, resources, how to execute, it often felt like the direction had already been decided. And what happened for me, and what often happens for people when they lose agency, is they stop acting like contributors and start acting like executors. I stopped bringing ideas, stopped challenging assumptions, and stopped raising concerns. While ownership requires agency, it also requires psychological safety. People need to believe they can raise concerns, challenge the assumptions, and take risks without being ignored, dismissed, or punished for it. So keep in mind, people support what they help create, and when it's safe to do so. Now, the third piece is connection to outcomes. This is where ownership gets real. Many organizations accidentally create people who complete tasks, when what they really need are people who own results. There's a huge difference between did you finish the task and did we solve the problem? Owners care about outcomes, not just activities. They understand how their work connects to the bigger result. And when people can see that connection, ownership becomes much easier. But there's one final ingredient, and it's the piece I myself have overlooked. They have to choose to buy in. You cannot mandate ownership. You cannot force ownership. You can create a shared vision, agency, safety, and connect people to meaningful outcomes. But eventually, people have to commit, because no amount of vision, involvement, or accountability can make anyone take ownership. At some point, they have to decide to go all in, and that's the part leaders don't control. But what leaders do control is, again, creating an environment where ownership is far more likely to happen. So if you want more ownership from your team, don't start by asking, how do I get people to be more accountable? Start by asking, do they understand where we're going? Do they believe in the future we're creating? And is it worth the effort? Do they have a voice in how we get there? And do they understand how their work connects to meaningful outcomes? Because again, ownership isn't something leaders demand. It's something leaders create the conditions for, and something individuals choose to embrace. So I hope you found this useful. And if you did, please do tell me about it in the comments. And then go ahead and hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you can catch the next video.